smile there, because I mean, the weekend didn't start out looking great, and then it's just come to you through the weekend. When you saw that incredibly committed move at the start, was it then his race to lose?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely managed to improve the car yesterday, and you know, his start and that first corner was kind of win it or bin it. You know, the commitment that he had, and you know, Oscar was fair and gave him space, but you can see, you know, he's coming from a way back, and George is up the inside, but he just commits to the corner and was given enough space by Oscar, and that was the last they saw of him. So incredibly decisive, and he's just so good in those situations.
Are you surprised that Oscar didn't fight back a bit harder?
You know, he's trying to defend a championship lead, you know, and you know, he knows how committed Max is, and you know, he saw a gap, he went for it, and that's just the instinctive racer that Max keeps, you know, demonstrating week in, week out.
Yeah, because Piastri was caught sleeping there, because it was a copy a little bit of Jeddah, except that he didn't close the door. He left enough space because he was caught sleeping. So you come out looking very strong. Max, you, the unit, the engineer, because even when you don't have the right cards in your hand, you end up winning. Do you think that strength, that energy, will be the downfall of McLaren this year?
Well, look, as a team, we're very strong. As a unit, we're very strong. There's always a lot of noise on the outside, but never on the inside. And you know, the whole engineering team back in Milton Keynes have done a great job. We've bought a few new bits here this weekend. That's why Enrico went to get the trophy today, for the hard work that's going on behind the scenes. The strategy were good. The pit stops were good. You know, the guys were up until, you know, gone 2 o'clock last night repairing Yuki's car. So just as a unit, I think we've executed a really good race this weekend, and you know, particularly on our 400th, it was a great way to celebrate that by getting this big win today.
Even after lap 1, Max's pace seemed really good, and you mentioned that on Friday he was overtaken by the McLarens. What do you think that turnaround from Friday and race pace to today, because he had really strong pace out front?
I think we managed to get the car into a window. I think the parts that we bought worked, and yeah, we managed to get a setup, and once you're in the window, then you can control your tire temperatures once you've got that clean air at the front. And there was at no point in the race where he looked really under threat. You know, the restarts that you know, at all points during the race, he looked to have pace in hand, and that first stint was so long on the medium. That was what was particularly impressive and reassuring, that we were able to yeah, have better deck than the McLarens in that first stint.
Let's talk about Yuki Tsunoda. Just how impressed have you been with him this weekend? Obviously, yesterday was a horrible crash. It was great to see him come out of that unscathed, but to then bring it back and put it in the points, and at one point play the ultimate team play by holding up a couple of drivers for Max as well. So, yeah, what did you say to him? Have you seen him yet?
I haven't seen him yet, but I thought he drove a very good race today. To get that point, you know, was hard fought, coming from the pit lane. You know, the strategy worked well for him. He drove a smart race. He was decisive in his moves, and it was a good payback for the mechanics. You know, today you can see, you know, he very, very brave around, you know, some of the fast corners here. Managed to get up the inside of Nico there, and that was his move into the points.
And you say that Oscar has a championship to worry about a little bit. Surely Max has got to be thinking about the championship. Results like this, results like Jeddah, at some point, surely you've got to think that you've got a chance at maybe going for the championship.
I think I've always said this championship's a marathon. I mean, look, race 7, we've managed to win 2 of them now. And it's all about where you are at the end of it. You've got to make sure you stay in touch through this phase, and you know, we're finding form, and you know, this is the start of a triple header now, completely different challenge next weekend, then a regulation change the weekend after. So, you know, the races start coming at you thick and fast now.
Well, there's a talk about championship. We've seen that McLaren has focused on the Constructors' Championship a lot and damaging the chances of a Drivers' Championship. In your situation, you have Max fighting for championship, and the other car is a little bit further back in the points. So is the focus more the Drivers' Championship?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got our full focus is on the Drivers' Championship, and you know, obviously both cars are scoring, and the more that Yuki works his way up the order, the bigger role he can play. I mean, you saw him play a small role today, working, you know, hard to keep Oscar behind him for, you know, a crucial lap or so. But yeah, for us, all focus is on that Drivers' Championship. We've got a very clear #1 in our team, and that's where obviously the main focus is.
Are you surprised that McLaren didn't swap their drivers to launch a bit more of an attack on Max? What would you have done in their position?
It's very hard because, you know, when you've got two drivers racing each other, you just want to deal with it as even-handedly as you can, and you know, to do that is then sort of favoring one driver over the other. So, you know, they allow the drivers to race, and you know, that's good to see and has to be commended. But of course, sometimes that's perhaps against the interests of the team because the drivers have their own interest.
Now, before we let you go, just a quick word on Monaco. I mean, these races are coming in thick and fast. How will the car fare there, and will the tech regulation change in Spain that we're hearing about with the front wing, will that affect you in any way?
Well, look, I think Monaco, as we know, is a completely different challenge. We've got 2 mandatory pit stops in the race. I'm hearing there's a bit of weather around as well for the weekend, so that can always play a factor. And then, of course, you know, Barcelona, we're not expecting any major shake-up, but you know, for sure it will have an effect.
Okay, well, listen, well done today. Make the most of it. We're going racing again soon, but relax tonight. You thoroughly deserve it. 400th Grand Prix start and a win for the